My name is Steen Henrik Møller. I'm a senior researcher at Aarhus University. I've studied the farming of animals bred for fur for almost 28 years.
WelFur-programmet er en...
WelFur is a program used for monitoring the welfare of animals bred for their fur. WelFur is based on the large-scale European project called WelFur Quality. It is done for mink and foxes. During the course of a day, inspectors will look at the animals, their cages, and the way the animals are looked after. The assessment process enables you to gain an insight into the welfare of the animals on a particular day.
Når man skal vurdere velfærd, så kan man basalt set...
We look at 4 criteria. We look at the conditions in which the animals are kept. We look at their cages. We check to see whether the animals have an adequate supply of fresh water. We look at how well the animals are looked after. We examine what is done, when it's done, and whether it is done correctly. This is what we mean by conditions. We then can look at how the animals respond to these conditions. This is what we call animal-based indicators. In welfare quality and in WelFur, we want as many animal-based indicators as possible because they tell us more about how the animals are actually getting on.
Dyrebaserede velfærdsindikatorer, det er dem, som er et udtryk for, hvordan dyrene reagerer.
Animal-based indicators are an expression of how the animals respond to their living conditions. We assess their behavior and health. We check to see if they behave in a way that is consistent with what we would expect to see in wild animals. For example, if we find that a mink is chewing its fur, or an animal is exhibiting stereotypical behavior, this is an indication that something is frustrating them. We check their health. If many animals get injured or fall sick, this is an indication that something is wrong and needs fixing. The law focuses more on the animal's living conditions, in terms of cage size, how the animals are fed, and so on. However, assessing how the animals handle their environment provides more useful information.
WelFur-programmet i sig selv kan ikke...
WelFur in itself can't guarantee anything. WelFur can only provide an indication of the welfare and well-being of animals at a given farm at a given time. If you identify problems on a farm, you know what action needs to be taken. WelFur allows you to document the current state and areas of improvement.
Det hvor WelFur adskiller sig fra de andre husdyr, det er, at man i pelsdyrproduktionen har hele...
The WelFur program differs from other monitoring systems used for other livestock. The reason for this is that the entire life cycle of the mink is based at the farm. That means we need to carry out inspections more than once. We carry out an inspection in each part of the production process. During the winter, then in the nursing period, and in the autumn when the kits are growing. Research has shown that the welfare and well-being of the mink can be safeguarded if you follow the animal's yearly life cycle all the way through.
For det første er minken ikke et vildt dyr. Det er jo et, der har været...
First of all, mink are not wild animals. They have been farmed since the American Civil War. The animals have been adjusting to farm life for generations. The mink regards the cage as its territory. That is what is important. The size of that territory doesn't seem to matter, as long as they can get enough food and they can defend it. Also, there must be different sources of enrichment. In the growth period, the best form of enrichment is a mink of the opposite sex, so they can play and practice mating behavior. There should also be a shelf, a pipe, straw. And mink must always have access to a nest. The nest is very important. It's a place to go if they get scared, and it's a place where they can keep warm.
Vi bliver nogle gange spurgt, om vi har en uafhængighed i vores forskning.
We're sometimes asked if our research is properly independent, given the fact that the industry part finances it. We keep the industry at arm's length. We only take on projects where we are able to decide on what we want to research, the research methods we use, how we calculate the results, and how and what we publish. In that sense, we are independent. The industry must part-finance our research. This is what the government stipulates.